And in this video, we're going to talk about Dragon's Dogma 2, coming up release March 21st, 2024. Right around the corner, guys, less than a month away. But what we're going to discuss in this video is some things you need to know before release. Those things starting with system requirements. Now, the game does not specifically state that it's going to require an SSD, but as we're getting to know with a lot of games now, an SSD is going to be really good. Now, if you have an older computer system, like, for example, I have one that's going on 8 years old, and it does have an empty slot on the motherboard for an SSD card, but it would be a Gen 2, but it would still work. So if you have older computers, check inside. You may have a slot for an actual SSD card. They're relatively cheap. They're easy to install, blah, blah, blah. Okay, enough of that, but that's one important thing you want to be aware of is system requirements. If you have an older system, a few years old, and when I mean a few years old, I don't mean like, 10, 15 years old. I mean a few years old, like 4 or 5, maybe up to 8 years old, like, say, my oldest computer. My oldest computer meets these specs and could run this game, with the exception my graphics card is a 1050 Ti, but I do have another graphics card that I could pop in it, which would make it more than effective to run this game. 16 gigabytes of RAM, easy peasy. Even the Max Intel Core i7 10700, that's pretty standard spec for computers that that are a couple 3 years old. I mean, my processor is an i7 12700, and my computer I'm playing on right now is going on a year and a half old. So you guys get what I'm saying. System requirements, yeah. If you have a slightly older rig, you're not going to have any problem running the game. Okay, let's move on to the next point we want to talk about. Really important, guys. Let's take a look at the map itself. I mean, now, take a map. Now, take this map and put this by 4 times. That's pretty heavy. Okay, so something else you want to be aware of before the release of Dragon's Dogma 2, and that's going to be your vocations. Now, in Dragon's Dogma 2, you're going to have set vocations, a limited amount of vocations that you can select from when you first start the game. Now, some of those vocations that you are able to use are not going to be the same that you can assign to your pawn when you create your pawn. It's similar to the same structure here as in Dragon's Dogma 1. Also, another thing, once you level up a little bit in Dragon's Dogma 1, you're able to come right here to the innkeeper, and you can change your vocation. Now, that is not going to be the same in Dragon's Dogma 2. In Dragon's Dogma 2, there are going to be what is known as vocation meisters, which are out and about in the world. And you'll have to find them, discover them, and then interact with them, do a quest to unlock that particular vocation. So yeah, definitely different, a different twist. I like it personally because it really gets you out there in the world to explore the world, makes it more dynamic, in my opinion, as far as getting that particular type of vocation you want. I know I want to go hybrid. I know I want to try the Magic Archer setup in Dragon's Dogma 2. Curious to see how it goes. I really like the Magic Archer. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are in the comments below. Now, another thing you need to be aware of in the upcoming Dragon's Dogma 2 is the map size. I'm on Dragon's Dogma 1 to show you a comparison. This is the entire map size on Dragon's Dogma 1. Now, on Dragon's Dogma 2, it is pretty much, I suppose speculation, but it's definitely been shown over and over again that we can expect a map size 4 times the size of this map that we have in Dragon's Dogma 1. That's going to be a lot of territory, a lot of ground to explore. And that brings me to the next topic, fast travel. Now, in Dragon's Dogma 1, we have unlimited fast travel. we have that unlimited use fairy stone. And of course, we have some set locations that we can fast travel to, some of the cities, Bitter Black Isle, well, two of the settlements in Bitter Black Isle, and of course, anywhere that you place a port crystal. Now, in Dragon's Dogma 2, yeah, there's going to be an ox cart that you can use for a form of fast travel, but you're also susceptible to attacks on the way. So it may be faster than going on foot. I'm not really sure about it. I do believe there is going to be some limited form of fast travel in Dragon's Dogma 2, but it's apparently going to be very expensive and probably not something you can acquire until way later into your progress into your game. So, I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned about that. I don't mind exploring, unlocking everything on foot, but when you get to a point where you're going back and forth through the same area on foot, encountering the same stuff over and over again, that's going to get really old. I know it will for me, but I don't know how Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to address that. I know they have said that they're making the world way more diverse as far as your encounters, what you can discover. So I'm assuming that maybe that means if you go back through an area several times, you'd have some type of a different encounter. On Dragon's Dogma 1, when you're going back through the same area, the same thing is practically always there. At least that's been my experience. But yeah, those are some things you need to be aware of before the release of Dragon's Dogma 2. Your system requirements. The sheer map size is going to just be overwhelmingly huge as compared to Dragon's Dogma 1. And your vocations, you're not going to be able to go and change your vocation on the fly at a inn early on in the game. You're going to have to get out there in the world, find those vocation meisters, find the right one for what vocation you're looking for, and progress forward in their quest and whatever to unlock that vocation that you want. So other than that, I'm really stoked for Dragon's Dogma 2 coming out here really, really, really soon. It's right around the corner, guys. Let me know in the comments what your feelings are about those particular points, the differences between 1 and 2. Not to mention the graphical difference that 2 has. Oh, it's going to be so awesome. So other than that, I'll see you guys on the next Dragon's Dogma video. Dragon's Dogma 2 video, I should say. Until then, keep safe and peace.